What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Social Club where everyone has a voice. I'm your host, Jacob Hale, joined by Nathan Garth.
What's going on, y'all?
Yep, got a great one for you guys, but real quick, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, like and comment down below. Join us on Instagram, the Social Clubber, where we post every single day. Where else are we on? Discord, TikTok, Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. We're everywhere. So type in the Social Club, you're definitely going to find something.
Yep.
Yeah, so introducing the topic, NFL draft is coming up, and we're going to have our own individual segments where we talk about our NFL teams and who we like. But bigger picture here, we have two QBs that everyone cares about, and then there's everyone else. Yep. So with this episode, I want to talk about who do you personally believe will be QB1, Cam Ward or Shedeur Sanders? So I'll start by asking you that question. Who do you think is going to be number one and why?
Yeah, so I have gone back and forth with this since the end of the college football season. I originally opened up as a Shedeur guy, but there were some things later in the season that Cam Ward showed me that I just think he's the more pro-ready, and I also think he has the biggest ceiling. They do have a lot of similarities. Both had some rough O-lines. Both didn't have great defenses. And they both came from smaller schools too, which I know is a little different. Shedeur was a big-time prospect. He just wanted to go play for his dad. And Cam Ward starting off at Incarnate Word just because he wasn't a highly touted prospect. But they've both played elite football at both levels of Division I. So right now I think that Cam Ward would be my pick, and I think that will be the pick. Maybe it's not number one overall. The Abdul Carter narrative has started that he might be the number one, but I do think that Cam Ward's going to be the first quarterback off the board.
Yeah, I definitely understand why you would say that. I came in there thinking the same thing. I think Cam Ward is the most QB ready out of those two. If I had to be devil's advocate and root for Shedeur, well, I'll say with Shedeur that I like that I think could be better is that, man, I mean, one, definitely marketability.
Yeah.
And I think that, I mean, strange enough, I really do think that's a big thing, especially for these teams. And also just play styles and what they bring to the table. If Shedeur matches up better for what the team is and what they're trying to do, I do believe that Shedeur will be the option for it. So if the Titans do have to pick a QB, I do think they would lean more Shedeur than they do Cam Ward. But just like what you alluded to, I want to get your take on that. Do you think the Tennessee Titans, number one overall, is actually drafting a QB?
Before I answer that, I do agree with what you were saying, that there is a possibility. Like, I could see, based on which situation either of them go to, like, I don't think it's crazy to say maybe Shedeur has some more success early on, again, depending on the situation that each go to. As you can see last year, the difference with Caleb Williams and Jaden Daniels, where everyone thought Caleb Williams was in a better situation, but it turned out that Washington did have a better overall team. But
Whatever.
Sorry.
Yeah,
I know
whatever.
that hurts. But I do think that Tennessee is going to go quarterback. Obviously, they're not a quarterback or an edge or a receiver away from being a winning team, but I think the Will Levis project should be over. I mean, Marcus Mariota had some success there. He probably didn't turn out how Titans fans thought that was going to go. No hate to Mariota. They made some deep playoff runs, but and they had Tannehill, where they also made deep playoff runs. A lot of it to do with, obviously, Derrick Henry in his prime and some pieces on defense. But I think it's time for Tennessee to realize that, like, they need a guy for the next 10 years. And I think that's what they're thinking too. And they're not going to go edge like a lot of people have them going.
The Titans, another aspect of the Titans I do want to point out is I wonder if they have drafting QB fatigue at this point.
Yeah.
Because they had Will Levis, and then before that they had Malik Willis, and they both blatantly
about that.
didn't. Yeah, they both blatantly didn't turn out for them, right?
Yeah.
So I also wonder if that's burning in the back of their head too. Is that, do we want to burn a first round on another QB, or do we try to fulfill another skill position that we know has a better chance of panning out? So then we don't have to, we'll have that security for the next 5 or so years.
If you can put an elite defense in front of a quarterback, as you've seen, the Titans have had success running the football and putting elite defenses and making their quarterbacks look better than a lot of people think they are.
Yeah, I definitely agree. So let me ask you this question now, getting out of the QB space and just going all athletes in general. Give me one very underrated, under the radar guy that you think is going to be a game changer, but is going to fall in the draft. And then give me one overrated guy.
Okay.
That's going to get drafted too high.
Okay. For my overrated, and I don't think he was really projected to be a first rounder based on his position until a couple weeks ago. Amarian Hampton from North Carolina, the running back. I see him going in top 15 mocks. I see people out there saying that they have him running back 1 over Genty. Like,
wow.
I watch his tape, and I've seen highlights of him, and he definitely has the size and speed to be like an every down back. It's not like he's a gadget player or something like that, but one, he has a ton of carries under his belt, obviously, as does Genty, but whenever I watch his tape, it's just nothing sticks out to me of like, this guy is an elite running back. Like, I could see him being like a Najee Harris. Like, he'll get you 4 yards. He's relatively healthy. He's a very, very serviceable running back, but a Najee Harris or a Hampton isn't, in my case, in my opinion, worth a first round pick. I am a Chargers fan, fully disclosed, but I see people mocking him to us, and it's like, I don't know what kind of PR team he has, but he's gone from like, oh yeah, he might be the second or third or fourth running back in the draft to top 20 picks. So that's who I would go with overrated. Underrated, I got to shout out my boys over at Mizzou. Armin Membu, Missouri's right tackle. Honestly, another guy that was getting late first, early second mocks until about a month ago. Right tackle for Mizzou last year, didn't allow a sack, didn't allow a QB hit. There were some size concerns with him height-wise. He's only 6'3", so a lot of teams have him slotted in as a guard in the draft. But people forget Trent Williams is 6'3", so it's like you don't have to be like 6'6", 6'7", like all of these tackles look like nowadays. But even if he's at guard, I mean, I've seen him mocked as high as like 5 to the Jaguars. People have him going over Will Campbell and Kelvin Banks, but I don't necessarily think I would take him over Will Campbell, but I think he's surefire second lineman off the board in the draft. I actually like him to the Bears at 10. I think that would be a really home run pick for the Bears, especially after they just signed Joe Thuney. So
yeah,
sure up both guards or a guard and a tackle, and I got Armin Membu as my most underrated.
Yeah, as a sidebar, I know a lot of people want us to go Will Campbell or God, it's Will Campbell.
Will Campbell.
Yeah, I know a lot of us are going with Will Campbell, and I think that's the best pick for us, to be honest with you. I came in thinking O-line, D-line. I don't care what else.
Yeah.
O-line, D-line, we have to address those. Those are the most important. So I don't mind that at all. If he ever did get picked, I know Banks Jr. was on there, but also that tackle from Ohio State was slated in there as well.
Donovan Jackson.
Yeah. I don't really mind. I don't really mind as long as we do get someone. I mean, the Tennessee guy that we have, Darnell Wright, I really do think he's going to work out. So I trust the science. I trust the madness. Darnell Wright wasn't the highest pick offensive tackle that everyone had projected, and we got him. And I think he's going to work out. He just needs to work out some kinks. So we'll have to see with that. My underrated guy. Now this one was really funny because really early when I thought about this, it was Kyan Lacey.
Okay.
But I'm not putting him on the list. Like, he's clearly, he's obviously going to drop. So it doesn't matter.
He's got some kinks to work out.
Yeah. Great on the field guy. Off the field, can't rely on him. Hey. So, so my underrated guy now, which is starting to not become underrated anymore, is Matthew Golden. I've seen enough from him. Even though I'm an LSU fan, I watched enough Texas games to where I was pretty bullish on him. I thought he was a really good playmaker. He was a great guy to bet on. Great guy to bet on. So, yeah, I think he's going to be a good receiver one. Whoever ends up picking him up, I think that's a good steal. And also, just the nature of the receiver class this year, where your number one receiver is going to be a dual threat player.
Yeah.
So it's just an interesting dynamic this year. And if I want to throw someone else in there, I also like Luther Burden. I think he's going to be super underrated because anything those guys can do at the top, he can do as well. But he's not getting the same publicity as the rest of them.
Yeah, he suffers a lot from the offense he was in. Not in the case that it was a bad offense run by Kirby Moore, but Luther was a lot of screens and arrow routes and deep balls, so he didn't run a ton of medium, crossers or 10 or 12-yard ends. A lot of his plays were long shots or screens and bubbles. But, I mean, if you just turn on the tape, he makes people miss at a rate that I haven't seen from a receiver in a long time. I mean, he almost never gets tackled by the first guy to him. Yeah. I always say I think he looks exactly how Debo did out of college. I think he's going to be an immediate impact. And both of the guys you just mentioned, Luther and Golden, I would love for the Chargers to take. That is like my dream case scenario that we can get one of those two guys.
Well, speaking of the Chargers, my overrated guy is a guy that I think the Chargers would be interested in picking up, but I'm not quite sure. My overrated guy in this is Cam Scatterboo.
Okay.
I think he's severely overrated. And my reason why is that he's a great player. And he was actually underrated in college football.
Yeah.
1,000% for what he did on that Arizona State team. However, my only argument with him is that I don't think his game would translate into the NFL as well as it did in college. And part of the reason why is that the NFL has definitely strayed away from the bruiser running back. Now, obviously, everyone's going to shout out Derrick Henry in the comments. Yeah. Go ahead, you've earned it. Throw in Derrick Henry. But honestly, though, a lot of these running backs, they fully went hybrid. Yeah. It's very clear that they want the full package out of the running back, and they're not as interested as the guy that can get you 2 to 3 really tough yards. That's not to say Cam Scatterboo can't catch the ball. That's also not to say that he's not really a fast player, but the nature of his game is that he is a bruiser-style running back. Yeah. I don't think that translates too well in the game. With that being said, I think a team like the Chargers would be a good fit for him because they would understand how to utilize him and play to his strengths. But with that being said, personally for me, I think Cam Scatterboo is leaning into a 4th or 5th round pick. Yeah. However, because of the publicity and hype, I think he's going to be way overvalued and in my head late 2nd round, early 3rd round.
Yeah, I think somebody will definitely pick him before round 3's over. I mean, this running back class is so weird. Outside of Genty and Hampton, which pretty much everybody has is 1 and 2, it's like you got Junkins, Travion Henderson, Dylan Sampson, R.J. Harvey. Like, there's just so many pretty good prospects, but there's not just like 3 or 4 like guys that will be day one impactors.
I think it's gonna be one of those things where the bottom, so like 5 through 7, is going to outperform 1, 2, 3.
I could say
that. I do love Genty. However, I will say it's very strange because he's the first one that's going to be off the board, but he came from a group of 5 teams, so it's just a strange dynamic. I do think his game is going to translate, though. I think it'll be great. And obviously the Bears have thought about getting him, which As long as we take care of O-line, D-line, I don't care what we do after that. So we'll just
Yeah.
have to see. I think that's interesting. But honestly, though, who I like the Bears to actually pick later in the rounds, who I think is also going to be a good deal, is Keldon Johnson from Iowa.
Mm-hmm.
I like him. I do. I think he's just underrated just because Iowa is just horrible. And no one on offense ever shines for that team, but they always have some golden eggs on that team that you can pick.
Tight end you.
Yep, tight end you. But I like Keldon Johnson from Iowa. I think that's a great fourth-round pick, running back. If we do want to get a running back or anyone in general, I think he'll perform pretty well.
Yeah, I could see that. It's a weird draft. It's very D-line and edge heavy. So I think a lot of teams are going to refrain from picking them early just because they know that they can get someone good later in the draft. So I think there's going to be a lot of skill positions off the board. I think Emeka Ibuka is going to sneak into the first round. You'll already have Tet, Luther, Golden. So it'll be fun. I think it'll be a fun draft. I don't know if there's any quarterbacks outside of Ward, Shedeur, and Dart that I think can go into the first round, but I don't know. There's always something that happens that surprises everybody. So maybe like Kyle McCord sneaks into the first round, or maybe people do think Quinn Ewers is a first round talent. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So my last question before we wrap this up is that Dylan Gabriel. Who you think is gonna snap him?
I mean, nobody should snap him early. I just think he's extremely limited. Obviously, he puts up crazy numbers. He's been in college since 2010, and he's been on 3 schools. Like, he's a great college football player, but I just don't see his game translating to the NFL. If someone like Tua can't translate to the NFL in the elite level, there's no way Gabriel is, because Tua was twice the prospect he was coming out of college.
Yeah, absolutely.
I hate Dylan Gabriel.
So you think he's dropping like 3rd round?
Yeah, I don't know. It's so weird with quarterbacks because there'll be like 2 straight rounds where no one picks one, because it ends up being first round, maybe the second round you think you can get a franchise guy, and then people in the later rounds are like, okay, let's go get a decent backup. So I don't know.
There'll be some nibbles. I think there'll be some nibbles. I mean, again, it depends what happens in the first 3 rounds if a team trades out. But if the first 3 picks all go QB for some reason, then I can see a team like the Raiders feeling like they have to pick up something at this point. They can't go 2 drafts in a row not picking up a QB. So I can see them jumping in there. Oh, man, if I just want to throw something at the wall at this point, who's the Patriots QB?
Drake May.
Drake May? Okay, then they're going to stick with Drake May. Oh, boy. I don't know. Maybe the Vikings get him in a later round if they don't stick with Sam Darnold.
Yeah, they're done with Sam Darnold. I think the JJ experiment starts next year, which I'm excited. I was a JJ hater, but, I mean, any QB around Kevin O'Connell just automatically is better than they are. So
yeah, which, I mean, who knows what happens with Sam Darnold, but Titans again.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not a bad landing spot for them. And
that's what they should do.
Yeah.
But whoever gets Brady Cook in the later rounds is getting a dog.
There you go.
That.
Shout out to Brady Cook. Well, you guys let us know in the comments, who do you think is going to be QB1, Shedeur or Cam Ward? And then also, another question for you is, who you think is going to be very overvalued in the draft? Who you think is going to be very undervalued? This is a good time for you to shout out your buddy that's in the draft that's from D2 or lower Division 1 school.
Whitewater.
Yep. So this is your time to shout him out, and we'll show him some love. But other than that, appreciate you guys. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video, comment down below, get your thoughts and everything. And other than that,
yep,
I think we're good here.
Let's do it.
Yep. See you guys in the next one.